I'm going to give you a tour of my orchids and walk through the conditions that the various species like. I live in Southern California by the coast, and I grow most of them indoors. What I recommend you doing is making sure where you live that you can mimic the growing conditions that they like. I recommend looking to see if in your area there is an orchid society, because their website's going to have a lot of tips for you to get information from. I'm by the coast, and you can see that there is a lot of light in this room. So this is our dining room, and we've got all of these windows. And today it's raining and foggy, but you can still see how bright it is in here. Orchids, the vast majority of orchids like bright, indirect light. Some of the species that I have, like in the windowsill, the Cattleya, they like bright sunshine. So I tend to move them around depending on how the light is hitting against our windows throughout the year. And when they are in bloom, I definitely take them away from the light, because when they are in bloom, they do not want that direct light because it will kill the flowers. So let's get on my tour. I have about 30 orchids, and I'm excited to share them with you. All right, so it is February in Southern California, and some of these are not in bloom, and that's quite all right. These are two oncidiums, and to be honest, I find them to be a bit more difficult to grow, so a bit more for the advanced orchid collector. They are pretty picky. This one's getting ready. It looks like it's getting ready to bloom. They definitely are very happy here, as you can see with all the green. They don't want bright light, as they can tolerate a little bit more shade than like the Phalaenopsis, which I have two here. They were recently in bloom, and so now they're just kind of chilling and going through vegetation mode, which means growing leaves and growing roots. And these are two awesome mini Cattleyas that they're in bloom, so I did move them over here because I do not want the direct sun to kill the flowers. Back here, she just got done blooming. If you saw my video recently on how to repot a lady slipper, Paphiodellum, they also like a little bit more humidity, so I do put a little bit of pebbles on the bottom like I do with the oncidiums. And then this is another similar to an oncidium, and again, so it's similar growing conditions. They don't like a lot of bright indirect light, so I kind of keep this in this area, gets a little bit more shade. This is another Cattleya, and as I mentioned, I keep them on the windowsill to absorb as much sunlight as they can. She recently bloomed. I had cut off her, this is, you can see here, this is where I cut off the flower spike because it's not going to bloom again there. So she's going to go into vegetation mode. And then over here is where I have a number of Phalaenopsis, and this lady has put out another flower spike. She's one of my happy bloomers. She blooms a lot. And yeah, so you can see even on a day that is overcast and rainy, I do get a lot of bright light in here. So these are my Cymbidiums, and two of them are getting ready to flower. They definitely like the early morning sun. They do well in shade. So once these two bloom, I'm going to move them inside to enjoy the flowers. This one recently bloomed. Oh, she was amazing. And welcome to my tiny greenhouse. So you can see I've got a lot of plants in here. These are the Vandas that I was talking about, and they don't need any soil. They just like to hang in baskets. And you can see it's like, you know, not bright in here. It's just kind of nice, and it's a bit more humid in here. And then these are my Dendrobiums. Everything here, these are all babies. So they are going to require patience in order to see them bloom, but how fun. If you found this video helpful, let me know in the comments, and please like, subscribe, and follow.